Tomorrow we feast and sleep. Tonight we get up and we get loud. Please welcome, wearing the best damn uniforms in the NHL, your Pittsburgh Penguins.
The Penguins begin a stretch of some home cooking here tonight on Thanksgiving Eve. 9 of the next 12 games on home ice. Already the final game of the 3-game regular season series between the Penguins and Leafs, who have really experienced the wrath of the two-headed monster over their careers, Bob.
Well, they really have, and that two-headed monster, well, they were, the Boston Bruins were suffering their wrath on Monday evening as Crosby opened up the scoring. Malkin with a pair in the game, including the game winner in overtime from Sidney Crosby on a beautiful play. Sidney Crosby leading the National Hockey League, and he's got to go against Dion Phaneuf. Phaneuf hammering Hornquist in Toronto only a month ago. And who is in his face? Evgeny Malkin. The team has come together. They're united. They're winning like champions do in playoff time.
Let's go now to PA announcer Ryan Mill.
And at center number 71, Evgeny Malkin. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in a moment of silence in memory of former player, legendary coach, and general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Pat Quinn, who passed away earlier this week. Thank you. Please rise, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the flags above the scoreboard. At this time, please welcome back the Penguins' own Mr. Jeff Jimerson, as together we all sing "O Canada" and the Star-Spangled Banner.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red the longer singing air, getting through the night, that our flag was still there.
A festive atmosphere here tonight at Consol Energy Center, and let's go now to our Rivers Casino tip to win.
Well, they're going to have to play a speed game. Get pucks in behind Big Dion Phaneuf. Make them turn. Make them go play pucks behind their own net. Part of that speed game, Megna. and he's going to move up in the lineup with the injury to Bo Bennett. A good opportunity to crack the lineup. And you want to stop Phil Kessel, one of the great releases in the game. Marc-Andre Fleury with those goldish yellow pads is going to have to do it.
15 of his 300 wins have come against the Leafs in his career. They've scored some goals on him. His goals against them over 3. And Jonathan Bernier has never beaten the Penguins in regulation. His record 7-5-2, and the Pittsburgh Penguins have beaten the Leafs 5-2 and 2-1 so far this season in Toronto. And the only visit of the year for the Leafs. Their dads are here as well. It's a big night for the players for Toronto. And a false draw here to start the hockey game. They'll drop it again. The referees tonight are Brad Meyer and Chris Rooney. David Brisebois and Steve Miller are the linesmen. Nazem Kadri takes the opening faceoff against Evgeny Malkin. And then Cody Franzen banks it up towards the Penguin zone. Christian Ehrhoff goes back to get it. Moves it up the wall. And Blake Comeau tried to tip it to Malkin. They do bring it to center. And Comeau carries into the Leaf zone. Shoots the puck just wide of the goal. Kunitz went right to the wall to get it. Moves it back to the point to Mata. Now to Ehrhoff a drive, and that's off the stick. Malkin centered it. Backhand shot. Score! Blake Comeau!
Well, that's a speed game the Penguins were looking for. They got a good breakout. A shot that went wide, but it was tracked down by Kunitz, and they were able to get the puck back to the front of the net. There's the wide shot. Kunitz on the wall. They keep the puck alive. Malkin tried to bank it in from behind the net on Bernier. It went to Comeau, who slid it behind Bernier on the backhand, right underneath the right pad as the goaltender was out of position with Malkin behind the net, and the Penguins were on the board in the first minute.
26 seconds into the hockey game, Blake Comeau getting an opportunity to play with Evgeny Malkin, scores his 6th goal of the season. Cody Franzen works into the corner for Daniel Winnick. David Clarkson is bumped by Crosby. Nick Spaulding tried to get it out. Leafs keep it in though. And wheeling with the puck is Peter Holland. He'll work into the corner now for Clarkson. Scuderi holds him off. Winnick follows on. Number 26 of the Leafs works it out to Dion Phaneuf. He fumbles it, but keeps it inside the line and then drives it around the horn where Winnick has it for Toronto. But he lost it, and the Penguins come storming back. Crosby trying to get around Franzen. He does, and he shoots it. Sharp angle shot is stopped by Bernier at the post.
How about the edge work by Crosby? Heel to heel, walking around the defense of the Leafs. And he's a load already in this game. Crosby and the Penguins have come out firing here.
Jason Megna just bumped Dion Phaneuf after he dumped the puck in, and Phaneuf took a little jab at him before heading across the ice to the bench. Sutter looks for the puck. It comes right out now to Stefan Robida. His shot, and Fleury makes the save. Van Riemsdyk trying to whack it to Tyler Bozak. Bozak gets the puck and bounces it into the circle, but right to Jason Megna playing on left wing. Moves it to Downey. And now for Letang moving up on the play, and Letang sends it behind the net. Corbinian Holzer is on defense tonight for the Leafs. Number 55, another German player. And Holzer with it now behind his own net. And the Leafs bring it out.
Now Comeau with his 6th goal of the year already for the Penguins, surpassing his totals last year. The whole season with Columbus, he had 5.
I asked him today about playing on that line, and he feels like he just has to play his game. He doesn't feel like he has to defer to Malkin. Here's a shot now by Letang, and it's gloved by Bernier, and he holds onto it.
So the Penguins come out gunning the Malkin line, opening the scoring, and then Crosby through the neutral zone. Look at the heels. Look right there to walk around Franzen. Franzen went down in a heap. And Sidney Crosby, with that great edge work, just able to walk right around Franzen.
Crosby has 8 goals, 11 points in 7 straight games against the Leafs. And he has really done some damage against them in his career. 22 points in 14 games against them, and he does well against Canadian teams. Here's Ehrhoff with it now. He'll turn inside the blue line and just whack it back down towards the circle. Comeau trying to get a hold of it. Kunitz follows on. Kunitz is looking to get off the schneid himself. He's gone 9 games without a goal. Here he is with it now. It's a Mata drive off the inboards and right to Ehrhoff. Oh, he just pushed it wide, looking for his first goal in a Penguin uniform. Now it's Clarkson deep in his own zone, and he'll send it in behind the net to Morgan Riley, who snaps it out on left wing for David Booth, making his debut tonight. He's been out with an injury until tonight. And now here's Ehrhoff backhanding it up off the boards into the Toronto zone, and it'll be an icing call against Pittsburgh. The Penguins have come out smoking here.
Staggy, how about the activity from the defense? It was Letang last shift. Mata with a shot. Guess who's jumping up? It's Ehrhoff, and Ehrhoff looking for his first of the season. Just could not find the 4x6. Once again, Bernier was sprawling all over the ice with that puck coming off the back wall.
This is the third straight start for Bernier. Off the draw, Santorelli shot it, and Fleury sticked it away in behind the net. Up the wall it comes, and Phaneuf's able to hold in. He'll bounce it to the corner. The Leafs go to work on the cycle now in the Penguin zone. Nazem Kadri pulls away from Malkin, tried to step out in front. Malkin knocked him down, took a penalty. And so the Leafs will go on the power play. Dion Phaneuf over to Franzen. His shot, and Fleury corrals it, then pushes it aside. But that brings the penalty, and Pittsburgh will be shorthanded.
Well, there was an icing call. Remember, about 20 seconds ago, the Malkin line had to stay on the ice for that icing. They get hemmed in their own zone. And Kadri, who got kind of looked over by his coach in practice the other day, taken off the second power play, draws a penalty here. He started the hockey game. The Penguins scored against him. They put him right back out, Nazem Kadri. And let's see if he gets out on the power play as he drew the penalty.
Bozak on the draw, lost it to Marcel Goc, and Bozak's won 70% of his faceoffs the last 3 games for Toronto, and that was a big win there for Marcel Goc on the penalty kill, and the Leafs have to set it up now from their own zone. Phil Kessel comes to center ice. Goc confronts him, so he dumps it in. And around to the near side, Letang wanted to get it out. Van Riemsdyk there getting hold of it. Sent it in behind the goal. Paul Martin fishing for the puck. 3 Leafs below the goal line. Marcel Goc there. He's bumped by Van Riemsdyk. And the battle in the corner continues for possession here.
Goc stepped on the puck in the corner, and while he was stepping on the puck, he passed it to Adams. Now, I've seen that before. It was a beautiful play. He wanted to control the puck. He put his skate blade right on that puck in the corner.
And that's something only that can be seen by Bob Errey from his vantage point, because from our vantage point, we can't see their feet. So that's a good example of when Bob's down between the benches, he sees stuff that we can't see upstairs.
Well, let's take a look at it in the corner. There he is. He steps right on it. The Allegheny Health Network Supermo shows you. Look at this. And then he passes it with control to his line mate Adams, and the puck goes down the ice. That's great stuff by Marcel Goc. Great camera work too, boys.
Now it is Lupul back in the lineup for the Leafs. Joffrey Lupul, another nice addition for them. He missed 12 games. They'll be happy to get him back. He can score goals. He's out here on this power play with 51 seconds remaining on the penalty to Malkin. Morgan Riley, a good skater, comes into the Penguin zone, wraps it around the near side. Crashing over there is Nick Spaulding to get a hold of it. So is Ehrhoff, and Ehrhoff's got it. And just hard work there by the Penguins penalty killers, not allowing the Leafs to get possession to set up. .25 seconds to go on the penalty. Jake Gardiner for Peter Holland, who sends it over to the far corner right to Paul Martin. Martin wants to drag it up the wall if he can, but the Leafs get a hold of it. And it is Gardiner with it. And Martin reaching in there trying to get it, and he does, and he finds that opening and goes all the way down the ice with it. And that should pretty much do it. Down to 5 seconds on the Malkin penalty. 1 second, and Malkin is set free, so the Penguins kill the Leaf power play and retain their 1-0 lead here in the first period. Chris Letang starts out for the Penguins. Right up the middle he goes to Crosby. Now to Malkin. Malkin leaves it for Kunitz. His shot, save made, and the rebound loose, but Bernier able to reach around and find it.
There it is. The monster on the ice again for Pittsburgh. Malkin and Crosby after the penalty kill. Mike Johnson gets them out together with Kunitz. There's the center drive after Crosby goes wide to Malkin. Look at the crisscrossing. Tough to track down for those 3, and a good opportunity on Bernier. And Crosby soaring on his skates.
And Malkin now has 26 points in his last 13 home games against Toronto. Dion Phaneuf moves it in behind the net. Cody Franzen sends it up the boards because Malkin got an assist, as did Ehrhoff on the goal by Blake Como.
Boy, that gives him 26 on the season, only 3 behind Voracek and Crosby for the lead league.
Up the wall it comes. Phaneuf got a stick on it. Kadri drops it back to Cody Franzen. Now for Dion Phaneuf. Phaneuf looks left wing. Santorelli digging on his off wing. Gets past Ole Mata and centers it for Kadri. And Kadri able to keep Mata from taking it away, make that Komarov. Leo Komarov, number 47. Now over to the near side. It is Santorelli. And Santorelli dances out of the check of Ole Mata, leaves it in the corner. Komarov centers. Turning with it now is Kadri, but he had it blocked. And then the Leafs able to get it back into the Penguin zone. They're going to go to the bench, though. They need to change. And there's the lead pass by Ole Mata, but Malkin will wind it up now in his own zone. Ehrhoff sends it out to center. Como gets to it. Blake Como. Over to Paul Martin and now to Malkin. Gino dumps it into the Leaf zone. Robidoux back to get it. Heavy check there by Como. Como says he likes to hit with his left shoulder. And that's why he likes playing on the left wing as a right shot. And you saw him do that right there. We'll be back in a moment. Penguins with 4 shots. The Leafs have 3, and the Penguins lead it 1-0 on a goal by him. They're paying tribute to the Flower on the big board here right now. The fans watching a nice video tribute.
It's surprising me.
And Gino Malkin had a really hilarious response. There's the crowd response now as they congratulate Marc-Andre Fleury on his 300 wins. Everybody's standing. Of course they are. And we in Pittsburgh really appreciate the greatness of Marc-Andre Fleury, even though he does not get maybe the respect he deserves in the hockey world at large. He is on a trajectory to become only the 3rd goalie to win 500 games. He might be able to do that if he can play till he's 38. Puck is gloved now by Bernier, and it'll be a face-off. And we invite you to tweet us at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth and tell us your favorite Marc-Andre Fleury moment in his career. Again, the hashtag PensBooth brought to you by Point Park University.
I just like watching him in practice, and then when he gets beat on a shot, he'll turn around, spin around, do some push-ups, Staggy. Always having fun with the guys. Love to play in front of a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury. And boy, he is a treat. He has worked so hard in so many facets of his game. The mental approach now with Mike Bales in terms of shutting off bad angle shots and staying inside the goalpost. So he's a lot more calm than he used to be when he first came in, and that's really benefited him.
Yep, he was like a frisky colt when he first got here. And now he is a more refined and reserved and composed veteran goaltender, and that's just the nature of things in hockey. I mean, you remember Tomas Vokoun a couple of years ago, everybody talked about how composed he was when he was 37 years old. It comes with experience. Here's Winnick with it now. And he'll dump it into the Penguin zone. But Fleury hasn't lost that enthusiasm and that energy that he brings to the locker room, and it's one of the reasons why his teammates love him so much. He's a positive guy and a really, really nice person. One of the best people to ever wear a Penguin uniform. Here is Gardner down the wing trying to pull the trigger, and reaching in to take it away from him is Sutter, and he turns it back to center ice.
Great back check for the 3rd line center. Sutter playing with Downey and Megna on the left side here tonight.
This is Booth moving it right wing. The Lupul is shot. Fleury makes the save with the arm, and then a rebound bouncing to the corner. And emerging with the puck is Chris Letang. Finds Brandon Sutter, who lifts it out to neutral ice where it's handled by Jason Megna. Megna pushed down along the near wall by Morgan Riley. But now it's Downey. He looked in front. He had a man cutting to the net. Couldn't get it through to him. It was Crosby, and now Sid gets to the puck. Poked away, rebound. Oh, a big save there by Bernier. Good opportunity for Paul Martin, a defenseman who moved up on the play, and the puck came right to him. But Bernier was already floating over to his right and made the save.
Yeah, big save there by Bernier to keep his team in the game. It looks like the Leafs had too many men on the ice for a second there. They get away with it. And, you know, the importance of the first goal in the game tonight, the Leafs are 8-0 when they score first. The Penguins on the board first.
Hornquist ships it up into his bench, and that'll bring a face-off.
Well, the defense have been very active in the hockey game. We've already seen Mata, Ehrhoff move up, and there's a one-handed pass by Sidney Crosby right on the tape of Paul Martin, and Sidney Crosby tied for the lead. The league lead was Voracek, 29 points, and there you see Malkin with that point tonight. Hornquist on the board as well.
Malkin is also on a 40-goal pace at the moment with 10 goals. And that would be the third time in his career that he's been able to do that if he can pull it off. Here are the Penguins now isolating on Franzen to the left side. Crosby stops on a dime, moves it along for Hornquist, who steers it to himself and then tries to step out. And we're going to get a penalty here, a slash. There's a broken stick on the ice. And that's Phaneuf's stick, so he was slashed. And Nick Spalling's headed off.
Malkin not liking the call here. Let's see if there's any kind of argument. He just kind of leaned on that stick, and Phaneuf, who was kind of using that stick as another leg, kind of almost fell right over when that stick broke, and Spalling will go off for that slash. So second power play.
Leafs are 0 for 1 with the man advantage. Spalling in the box, and Phaneuf has the puck off the draw. Dion Phaneuf fires, blocked in front. Bozak reaches for it, as does Kessel. And Kessel works it in behind the net to Van Riemsdyk. James Van Riemsdyk around for Kessel. Bozak's in front. Dion Phaneuf in the back door, shot it, and it was blocked by Paul Martin.
Well, they're going to call high stick here. It's going to go all the way down. That puck just over the shoulder, apparently, of Bozak. So the Penguins get a break after their centerman got kicked out of the faceoff. Marcel Gottsch has been so good. The best Penguin faceoff man gets kicked out. Adams goes into that faceoff circle. The Leafs win the faceoff, and it led to 28 seconds of opportunity in the offensive zone for Toronto.
Sutter to take the draw here. And it's won by Bozak, who lost his glove in the process. And Phaneuf takes off to center ice, hands it off to Cody Franzen, who drives it hard around. And Ehrhoff got to the puck, moved it in behind the net. And Megna killing a penalty here for the Penguins. Now it's Phaneuf poking into the near side of Kessel. He shoots it at the save, and a rebound shot out of danger by Scuderi. 1:05 to go on the penalty to Spalling. Kessel up high, shoots it. I think it might have partially deflected and kicked away beautifully by Fleury. And now on the right wing it is Sutter. He's hit hard by Dion Phaneuf. And Phaneuf able to dump it back into the Penguin zone. Fleury checked his goal stick after playing the puck behind the net. Bozak in the corner, stripped of the puck. But it does come to the point, and it's going to be Gardner with it closing in. Jake Gardner tried to get it to the net. He was looking for a redirect, a shot pass, and it was blocked. And now Morgan Riley to Kessel. Kessel fires. It's blocked in front. Backhand try by Bozak, and Fleury makes the save and the rebound all the way to center ice 25 seconds ago on the penalty to Spalling. This is Clarkson with it now. Out to Morgan Riley. Leafs send fresh troops on us. Riley shoots it, it's blocked away. Shot by Holland off the side of the net. Peter Holland gets his own rebound. Scuderi reaching in, trying to poke it away from him. Now Ehrhoff hustles over ahead of Clarkson. And a penalty coming up here. And I think Clarkson's going to get a holding penalty.
Yeah, I believe so. He had a free hand as Ehrhoff was going into that corner, and the Penguins are going to go to the power play up by 1-4. Well, they're going to be 4 seconds left here on the 4-on-4. And that 4-on-4, there was a lot of hard work there by the Penguins. Megna getting a shot, and Ehrhoff was caught out for a long time, and there was the free hand of Clarkson. You know, Van Riemsdyk, there's the redirect and the flipper coming out for Marc-Andre Fleury. But Staggy, did you see how composed that flipper was? He didn't kick it back out into the slot. It was the abbreviated flipper kicking it out into the corner. And that's the difference between the old Marc-Andre Fleury and the new Marc-Andre Fleury. A subtle little play like that rebound control. Great stuff.
Leo Komarov with it. Spalling's on the ice. And the Penguins have a UPMC Sports Medicine power play on the ice. And Malkin stripped of the puck by Komarov. He's dangerous shorthanded, but he just blew an edge. And Crosby tried to go ahead to Hornquist. Now it is Malkin coming over the line. He drops it off. Letang wending his way in. Passed it instead of shooting it, and Crosby ends up with possession. Letang returns the puck to Sid, who's really floating on ice tonight. Now it's Malkin. Same thing. He centers one off a stick of Phaneuf. Right to Crosby. Crosby for Kunitz. Back to Sid. Across the ice for Malkin. Kunis just got decked in front of the goal.
Wow, the hammer with a cross check.
Franzen got him. Crosby handed it right to Franzen. Good penalty killing effort there by Cody Franzen, and he's able to get the puck all the way down the ice. A minute to go on the penalty to David Clarkson. And number 71 of the Penguins, Malkin, moves it along for Kunitz. His centering pass actually went off of Trevor Smith. Letang has to go back and backhand it over to Kunitz. He returns it to Letang. And Hornquist down the wing. Able to crash his way right through the traffic, and Letang to Malkin. Now to Crosby. Crosby across. Here's Malkin. Shoots, he scores!
You gotta love the one-touch passing. The Penguins' top unit was on the ice for a minute and a half of power play time. And after the third rush, watch Crosby settle it down. There's the one touch, and Malkin rips that shot by Bernier. Bernier can't see anything. He's trying to look around that traffic. Hornquist, 72, impeding his vision. And Malkin's one of the most deadliest shooters in the National Hockey League. His accuracy is uncanny, and that was just a beautiful play up there, the triangle of the Penguins, or the umbrella, if you might want to refer to. Crosby to Letang to Malkin.
You don't see Letang make those beautiful touch passes like that, like he did there very often. That was just a beautiful pass from Letang to set a man up for a one-timer. You see where Evgeny Malkin is now in terms of power play goals.
And Sidney Crosby picks up an assist. Now 799 career points for Sidney Crosby.
Power play goal at 12 minutes and 59 seconds. Malkin is 11th of the season.
Marcel Gotch turns with it now inside the Toronto zone. And the Leafs are in danger of having a long night here. And it just feels that way to me, the way the Penguins are skating. Here's a chance for Martin. He centers it, goes right through the goal mouth. Taken now by David Booth. Booth comes down the right wing. He's got a man driving to the net, Smith, and he shot it and missed the net by 5 feet, and it goes out of play. Como and Malkin have scored for Pittsburgh.
Well, Jason, a good start for the hockey team here. You're getting a chance to kill penalties. Is that something you were doing down in Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, I was killing penalties down in Wilkes-Barre. Took a lot of pride in it. Something I've been doing for a while, and it was nice to get a shot out there.
You seem to have your speed back in your game. I know you were injured last year with the knee. You go down, you got 9 goals back there. You're playing a speed game, and is that what the coaches are telling you to worry about? Just get out there and play hard?
Yeah, absolutely. And speed's one of my biggest assets, so that's something I got to do every night to be successful. And the message is the same here as it is in Wilkes-Barre. Just keep skating.
All right, keep bringing it.
Thank you very much.
Well, when the Toronto Maple Leafs had the man advantage, they got 7 shots on their power play, and they were all stopped by Fleury. The Penguins got 1 shot on their power play, and it went in the net off the stick of Evgeny Malkin. And the Penguins lead at 2-0 here with 6:22 to go in the first period.
Leafs coming off a couple of big wins after they were going down the wrong road. They get Lupul back in the lineup here tonight and find themselves down by 2.
Offside is called.
Now we talked about Jason Megna, and he was injured last year against these Toronto Maple Leafs. He caught himself in a race for a puck, and Bernier came out almost to the blue line, ran into Jason Megna, and he did the head over heels cartwheel. Unfortunately, he had a little MCL injury and really didn't get himself back up to top speed here in Pittsburgh, and the coaches felt with all the players here, and he needed a little more seasoning and confidence, and he got it down in Wilkes-Barre.
Sutter went crashing into the end boards. Steve Downey down the wall, gets a hold of it, tried to center it. Now continues to work on the boards. The Leafs able to just get the puck back to neutral ice. And they push it into the Penguin zone, but there's Ole Mata to play it. Now Christian Ehrhoff can't take the pass, but Downey has it. And another offside play on the Leafs. and we will take a break. Well, the Leafs have outshot the Penguins 12-7, but the Penguins lead at 2-0.
Marc-Andre Fleury is still buzzing about career win number 300, which of course he earned Monday night in Boston. 11 years ago, he earned his very first right here in Pittsburgh at Mellon Arena, where he made 31 saves in a 4-3 victory over the Red Wings. And as we mentioned earlier, wearing those yellow pads, slightly different shade of yellow. Bob and Paul, the ones that we're seeing tonight, brighter, as Stan Savran put it in the pregame show, a couple of school buses, maybe a couple of Twinkies, slightly different shade of yellow.
I'll tell you, they look like fluorescent almost on television. And
Fluorescent.
Fluorescent, exactly, Bob. I didn't even realize I made a pun there. And of course, it took you to recognize that because you're a master of those. But it is interesting that just the way these uniforms stand out on television. They look great. The third jerseys, retro, if you will, but still a newer version of that style. There's a shot by Mata that hits a leg. And the Leafs able to get control of it as David Booth comes to center, moves it into the middle now to Trevor Smith. And his shot off the glass. Olli Mata sends it in behind the net. Good hustling play by the Leafs to get there, but centering pass comes right to Kunitz. And Kunitz softly dumps it up towards the Toronto zone. By the way, with that power play goal by Malkin, the Penguins are now 7 for their last 15 against the Toronto Maple Leafs with a man advantage. Just destroying them well over 40%. Now Dupre sends it up the wall. So the Leafs would be best to stay out of the box tonight if they can, and they've done a better job of that lately. Now Spalling in there working, and out of the scrum comes Crosby. He moves it out to the point to Dupre. His wrister hits Winnick, and then Dupre ends up getting the rebound from that block and backhanding it into the Toronto zone with 3:58 to go in the period. Jake Gardiner will be logging more ice time with the injury to Roman Polak. He hurt himself in the last game, a win over the Detroit Red Wings, and he was a valuable addition to this team. Roman Polak, physical, block shots, a defensive conscience.
Yeah, and Jake Gardiner, he's a -10 so far in the season coming into this one.
And a -7 in his last 4 hockey games. Here's Cody Franzen back to the puck. Sutter centered it down. He couldn't hold the pass. Kessel with great speed down the wing. Kessel, Paul Martin came over and closed in on him, and then he centered it right to Letang, who dishes it out to the right wing. Zach Sill carries in. He's hit hard by Cody Franzen.
Offside!
Delayed offside here, and it's taken now by Dion Phaneuf. Phaneuf works it along to the left wing, where it's steered in by Bozak to the corner. Paul Martin goes back to get it. Como is there, and he drags the puck away. Finds Letang. Chris Letang, pass for Malkin. And just didn't connect at the right spot. Malkin ended up being offside on himself. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Paul and Jay. Dan Potash will speak with a guy who is playing some incredible hockey right now, Chris Letang.
What about his passing?
Oh,
In Boston, here again, the one-touch pass, and that one there, it was a rocket of a pass over to Malkin. It was a kind of a seeing eye pass through a lot of skates and bodies. Really good stuff.
Bernier stops it behind the goal. Kadri starts it up. Nazem Kadri plays catch and then moves it left side. And Robidas holds it in. Holzer for Komarov, and he tried to steer it towards the net and went wide of the goal. Kadri with it again. Moves it out to the point, and Holzer shot kicked away by Fleury. And Olli Mata over. Santorelli is in there to try to take it away from Olli Mata. Santorelli with the puck on the wall. Down the boards for Kadri. Looks for Komarov going to the net. Santorelli had a stick on it, but now it's controlled by Pittsburgh. And cleared by Ehrhoff up off the glass. It'll go all the way back into the Leaf zone. And an icing call against the Penguins. Here's a couple tweets of favorite Fleury moments from our fans. A lot of them say they like seeing the save to clinch the cup against the Detroit Red Wings. Keep them coming, guys, girls, ladies. Your favorite Fleury moment.
I like Brandon Sutter's favorite moment. Scoring against him.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So now there's some funny stuff on that tribute on the Penguins website. Shot by Phaneuf, stopped by Fleury. Penguins got right there to get to the rebound. He's stopping that first shot, Bob, and the Penguins are doing a good job around him, making his job a lot easier. And that's one of the reasons those numbers are so good this year. Mike Johnston talked about the Penguins' attention to detail in the defensive zone. He feels that it's getting better and better. Tyler Bozak back to the puck in his own end. A minute 28 to go. Steal by Crosby. Now to Spaulding and his shot blocked. A diving play by Bozak. He may have saved a goal there.
Yeah, and just a little hesitation by Spaulding. I thought he might have been able to one-time that. He kind of dusted it off. Not able to score the third one here in the first period. Good pass by Sidney Crosby again after a turnover by the Leafs right at their own blue line.
Now Sutter tries to get it deep. Downey funnels on against Holland. Steve Downey pulls up. Lost an edge, but gets back up, goes to work. Now up the boards it comes for Clarkson. This little outlet pass to Holland, but he gave it right to Rob Scuderi. Scuderi sends it up the wall. Holzer holds it in. Penguins. Downey sent it ahead. It's going to go the length of the ice and an icing call against the Penguins with a half a minute remaining. Here's Brandon Sutter talking about his moment.
My favorite memory is when I scored my first NHL goal on him. Brooks Orpik had a little turnover in the neutral zone. I went in on a breakaway and scored, and that's probably my favorite moment I've ever had with Flowers. So he might not like it too much, but I'll go with it.
That's awesome.
Great personality, Brandon Sutter in the room. Another guy that's a great leader. And that goal he scored there was kind of a harbinger of things to come, wasn't it, Bob? Because he scores a lot of goals like that. When he gets himself free to get to the goaltender, he can put it in.
Well, he's showing that this year. His production so far into this season, he's almost halfway where he was all last year. Brandon Sutter. That third line, a big part of the Penguins' success.
There's the horn ending the first period of play, and the Penguins with a 2-0 lead. Marc-Andre Fleury stopping all 14 Toronto shots. And the Penguins getting goals from Blake Comeau and Evgeny Malkin with 7 shots on goal in the period.
Big start there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You don't want to mess around with the Leafs coming into town. They're 8-0-0. Toronto, when they score first, not near as impressive when they don't.
Let's go to Paul and Jay.
All right, thank you very much, Staggy and Bob. Obviously, that first goal, when it comes that quickly, and you know the statistics, the Penguins have now, in 17 of 21 games, have scored first.
Yeah, they're just, look, when you jump out on, early in the game, Toronto was just a little hesitant. We're going to take a look at something with that. A little hesitant. Pittsburgh just jumped, and they were moving. Great plays off the back wall. I mean, Pittsburgh, when they don't have the net, they're just shooting a little wide, and then, of course, the power play goal. Great puck movement in the last half of that power play. Obviously, to Barrett, great start for Pittsburgh.
Good start indeed for Pittsburgh, and we're just getting started. It is the Ford Store First Intermission Report. It is going to be Chris Letang when we come back with Dan Potash. Stick around. After one, it's the Penguins 2 and the Maple Leafs nothing. Something about Toronto brings out the best in Evgeny Malkin. Isn't that true, Paul Steigerwald and Bob Airy?
No, it is. He's got 49 points against him now in his career, Bob, and he looks like he's back in that groove, the kind of groove that he got in when he won the scoring title.
Yeah, over 1.8 points per game. Yeah, that's the highest average against any team that he's played more than 8 times. And on Monday, he scored 2 big goals, 1 on a power play, another in overtime on the feed by Crosby. And in this hockey game, that tic-tac-toe play by Bernier with traffic in front. He picked up an assist as well. And for Evgeny Malkin, he is feeling it right now, as they say. And look out, Sidney Crosby, because Malkin's right on your tail in terms of NHL scoring leaders. Sidney Crosby now with 30 points and 27 for Evgeny Malkin.
The Penguins have now outscored their opponents 30-15 in the first period, and the Leafs have been outscored 26-15. So that first period kind of went according to Hoyle in terms of who does the damage in the first and who has the damage done against them. The second period's a little different story. Both teams have been pretty good in the second period this year, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up. The Penguins trying to get on the board here early again in the second period. Blake Como over there on the wall, but the Leafs come to center, and it's Santorelli into the Penguin zone. Santorelli shoots. Blocker save made. Fleury. Rebound to the corner, and Malkin sends it back to the opposite side. Stefan Robida, defenseman, moves up, moves it behind the net for Santorelli. And Malkin comes away with a puck. Snaps it out to Como. And out to Kunitz. Ahead now for Como, racing in to get it. Blake Como turns the corner. Brings it up high. Leaves it there for Letang, and he'll wrist it now in behind the goal. And there's a steal by Malkin. And then the puck came to center, carried in by Spaulding. He's got a man open going to the net. It's Hornquist. He just couldn't get it through as Holzer broke it up. Now Spaulding in the corner with Robida bumping him. Spaulding turns out of that check, finds Letang, fakes the shot, long pass across to Martin. Martin's wrister, and Hornquist was looking for a redirect. Now he's trying to find the puck. Holzer holds him off, and it comes down to Letang. Quick shot just wide on the glove side of Bernier. Now Martin dumps it in deep. And the Penguins possessing the puck here early. Letang again trying to get it back to the net. Now he just shoves it back in behind the goal. Hornquist there. Holzer leaning on him. Spaulding comes in there and grabs the puck. Up top he goes with it. Now to Paul Martin. Martin across for Letang. Crosby wants the puck, but Letang dumps it in deep instead. And he nevertheless finds Crosby on the far wall. Sid fell down. Gets back up. Puck up for grabs, and who gets it? Sidney Crosby. Crosby turns, comes to the front of the net, and then had it knocked away by Robida. And Paul Martin will go back and get it in his own zone. How about that shift?
Oh, I know Crosby was up, he was down, he was under Robida. He went down awkwardly, got back up, and just lost the puck going to the net. A little scattery play here by both teams in this opening 2 minutes.
Van Riemsdyk shoots it up high on Fleury, and he'll cradle it. And we'll get a face-off in the Penguin zone. Day Automotive brings you a great day for hockey. Look at that. I love this uniform. Somebody ought to do a replica of that sweater. The Pittsburgh Pirates, November 26, 1925, playing their first game against the Bruins. Both teams wore black and gold. And by the way, this date in history, also the anniversary of the birth of the National Hockey League in 1917. Now Franzen centering, and yes, there was a franchise called the Pittsburgh Pirates, and here's Downey down the right wing with Magna coming with him. Downey shoots it, a save by Bernier. He stood up and made a good save there. Now it's Olli Maatta in the neutral zone.
2-on-1 there, and Downey held on. He didn't force the play over to Magna. And he got himself in a great shooting angle on Bernier. And a 2-on-1 right outside the blue line, and Dion Phaneuf, the lone man back. He's going to take away the pass and allow Bernier to square up. And that's a good opportunity to score right from there. But Bernier, he was able to square up, get on top of the crease, and that was played perfectly by Phaneuf.
16 shots now for the Leafs. They've doubled up the Penguins in shots, who have 8. Now the puck back into Toronto territory on an icing.
Well, Jason Magna's had some difficulty playing on the left side here tonight. He's got knocked down twice, and there he missed a play coming out, a pass coming out of his own zone. Just wanted to touch the puck, and it's tough. You're a right-hand shooter. You're not accustomed to playing left wing. Ask Bo Bennett. Got himself tangled up in the last hockey game, put himself in a precarious position. He got injured. They're not used to playing that side. It takes reps. It takes reps. It's not that easy, and you're playing in the National Hockey League, the best of the best. And you have these guys pressuring down on you. It's a tough play to make.
Ehrhoff one-hands it to Downey, who pokes it back in behind the goal to Olli Maatta. He'll set it up now. Hands it off to Brandon Sutter. Sutter digs in, comes to center, banks it off the wall up into the Toronto zone. Nothing doing there on the forecheck as the Leafs come right back out. And in the middle, it's dragged over the line by Holland. He's stripped of the puck defensively. And sending it up the near wall was Scuderi. Didn't get it out. It comes down for Winnick, and he was checked nicely by Scuderi and unable to pull the trigger. And now Morgan Riley drops it back into his own zone to Jake Gardiner. Right wing pass to Clarkson. Clarkson stick handles his way into the Penguin zone. Trying to do it all himself. And there's going to be a penalty here as Bernier left the net. It's a slash.
Yeah. As the referee points to the bench, somebody on the bench is going to have to go over there, and Brandon Sutter, Penguins penalty killer, is going to have to serve 2 minutes for a slash.
Penguins are the most penalized team in the league, averaging 14.5 minutes per game in penalties.
Here's the slash. A little love tap. A little love tap to the back of the skate. Gardner, that's enough to get the Penguins center penalized.
And the Penguins win the draw, and Letang able to wrist it all the way down the ice. The Leafs are 0 for 2 with a man advantage. 7 of their 16 shots have come by way of the power play.
12 different Toronto Maple Leafs have registered shots in the game.
And Phaneuf comes to the line, follows on. Martin got over, one-handed it, where Letang could wheel it all the way down the ice. Marcel Gottsch out here. Now he's going to go to the bench. The Penguins send fresh penalty killers on. Zach Sills out here along with Nick Spaulding to kill the penalty. And Martin and Letang are back. To the right wing now, it's Cody Franzen. He has a goal this year against the Penguins. Now it's Spaulding coming back shorthanded to Sill. Zach Sill looks to his right, finds Spaulding. His shot, a save made by Bernier. The Penguins getting an opportunity shorthanded. They've been pretty successful shorthanded against the Leafs in the last few years. Here's Cody Franzen ahead now to Kessel. Pulls up and handed it right to Sill. And Sill tried to go all the way down the ice with it, ended up hitting Bozak, and he controls the puck. Now for Phaneuf. To the left wing, and Clarkson, who dumps it to the corner. Bozak in after it. Now for Kessel, and around for Cody Franzen. Gardner, slap pass. Kessel centers for Bozak. He couldn't do anything with it. Gives it right back to Kessel on the wall. Into the corner now for Clarkson. Leafs still haven't registered a shot on this power play. Here's Franzen with it. Gardner tees it up, lets it go, and Fleury gloves it through traffic. He had a pretty clear look at it, and a face-off coming up. Our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update. Bo Bennett suffering that lower body injury when Kevin Miller fell on his leg in Boston the other night. He's going to be out a couple of weeks.
Yes, I hope he can enjoy his 23rd birthday tomorrow. Bo Bennett, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and have a good turkey day.
Paul Martin finds Crosby out in center. He had it knocked down with a glove of Morgan Riley, and then the puck was picked up by Gardner, so that's a hand pass.
You can only do the hand pass in your own zone, player to player. So that didn't work, although it did prevent a 2-on-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who were hoping their power play could get them back into this hockey game.
5 seconds to go on the penalty to Sutter, though.
Yeah, you see Sidney Crosby here at the tail end of this penalty kill for Pittsburgh.
And the penalty is now over. Sutter is set free, and the Penguins back at full strength, and here come the Leafs. Kadri shoots it, save made Fleury, and he controls the rebound.
That was a sneaky little shot by Kadri to curl and drag the puck around the stick of Letang. Used Letang as a screen, and Marc-Andre Fleury just caught it at the last second through the legs of Chris Letang. So Nazem Kadri with a tricky little play as the puck was knuckling in. You could see that rotation on the puck, like a knuckleball coming in towards Marc-Andre Fleury. And funny enough, the Penguins were working on that knuckle shot this morning. They had all the players line up at the blue line and fire pucks on edge towards the netminder.
Leo Komarov with it now for Toronto out of Finland. Moves it to the wall. Santorelli sends it in deep for Kadri. Turns the corner, and it's a good shot away at Fleury. He's able to make the save on Kadri, sneaking out, trying that wraparound. So now Komarov dumps it back in behind the Penguins goal. Fleury to Mata. Back the other way. And Malkin will lug it now for the Penguins. Over to Ole Mata. Back for Gino. No, it's going to go to Dupre, who snaps it out on right wing where Como tried to steer it in, but instead steered it out of play on the far side. More second period action coming up.
2-0 Penguins here in the second period, and we here in Pittsburgh know what Penguin fans are all about, and apparently others know as well. For the third consecutive year, Forbes magazine has named Penguins Nation as the NHL's best fan base. The numbers are based on several things like home attendance, social media participation, and more. Well done, fans, but guys, I know I speak for you when I say I'm not surprised.
No, and it's just it's the way that the fans are tuned into everything the Penguins do. Like when 11,000 fans showed up for the Chris Letang Heart Walk. They're just so responsive to everything the Penguins organization asked them to be involved in. And Pittsburgh people love hockey now. They love the Penguins. And now here's Christian Ehrhoff with it back to Olli Maatta. Crosby dishes it across to Ehrhoff. Sends it ahead. And coming right back is Bozak, but offside. The Leafs are frustrated right now. You can see Kessel's upset that he just couldn't get onside in time there. Kick off your Sunday night with Panthers Rewind on Root Sports. Relive every Panthers touchdown, pass, and play from their final regular season game against Miami. Panthers Rewind, Sunday at 6 on Root Sports.
The Leafs have had a couple of power play chances to get back in this hockey game. The Penguins are now 7 for the last 15, the last 5 games against Toronto with that Malkin power play marker in the first period of play.
Magna taps it back to Martin, who backhands it ahead to Downey. Downey tried to dump it in, but it's grabbed by Morgan Riley. Over to Gardner and back to Riley. 2 mobile defensemen, 2 young guys. Riley and Gardner. Now it is Letang shoveling it around to the near side for Martin. Up the wall for Magna. Magna finds Letang racing down the right side. Letang drops it off to Downey. Sutter goes to the front of the net. The pass for Magna was broken up. Sutter right there. Loose in front. Bernier's down. Still loose. Bernier looking for it. Somehow it's frozen. Boy, I thought Sutter had got himself a goal there. He was close.
Yeah, he found the loose puck. 4-on-3 as Letang joined the rush. He tried to find Magna in the high slot, but Booth got his stick on it right here. Puck found its way to the feet of Bernier, and a couple of shots. Bernier with his arm down on the ground made a spectacular unconscious save on Sutter, and Sutter gets a shot, a second opportunity right here on the forehand with Bernier and his left arm down on the ice. Malkin cheating on this faceoff. He's trying to get as much angle as he can to win this to the forehand.
Penguins battle to get possession off the draw, but the Leafs end up with it. Kadri slides it down to the corner. Santorelli in after it against Dupre. Dupre falls down. Pokes it to the corner and gets back up. Komarov with it. Now it's Como taking it. Nice outlet pass to Kunitz. And you can see the back pressure of the Leafs. They're doing a pretty good job of coming back and not allowing the Penguins much time when they're coming through center ice.
No, they're third in the National Hockey League in goal scoring. So this game is far from over. They got good speed. They're using it.
Scuderi back to the puck. Komarov on him. Good pass out to Malkin. Malkin to Kunitz. Malkin cutting it down as Kunitz looks for him. And he couldn't get it through. Good read there by Holzer. And now it's Santorelli centering. They score.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike Johnson and the coaching staff, they had that grimace on their face. They know, and Kunitz knows, you tried to force the pass to Malkin. The shot would have certainly been better, and that set the transition game. We just talked about it, the speed of the Leafs. They went the other way. Kadri made a beautiful play as he drew 2 Penguins towards him. One hand on the stick. Oh, that was spectacular. And a 2-on-1 out in front. The Leafs finally capitalized. Komarov goes off the stick and Maatta and knuckles in behind Marc-Andre Fleury. That's all it took. Boy, it's easy to say he should have shot the puck. And Kunitz tried to force it over to Malkin and turn the other way just like that.
Now Hornquist in on the puck. Komarov with his 3rd goal of the season, only the 7th of his NHL career. Now the Penguins working around the net and can't make it happen, so the Leafs clear it. And Ehrhoff will go back to get it in his own zone. Wheels it up ahead for Spalling, who chipped it right to Cody Franson. Now to the left wing in Holland. Now the Leafs have a little hop in their step, don't they, after getting that goal from Komarov. Clarkson in the corner. Crosby watching him. Bobby just got done telling you that the Leafs can score and they're using their speed. And they score the goal to cut the lead in half. And here comes Como now trying to get into the attacking zone. Leafs break it up, but right on the puck hard now is Crosby shooting. And it's off the stick of Franzen and off the glass. And it's Craig Adams with it, trying to control it. Cody Franzen comes to center, moves it to the left wing. Holland shoots it to the glove of Fleury. And he passes it ahead to Zach Sill, who dumps it into the Leaf zone. Gets in after it. Gets Gardner, dishes it to the near corner. Adams has it there for Pittsburgh. Craig Adams reverses it back into the corner for Sill. But Gardner takes it away and moves it out, but gave it right to Letang. And Letang dancing on his skates. Look for Paul Martin, another read by the Leafs. Breaking it up, it's Kessel, and he's got some room down the right wing. Here comes Kessel, dropping it off to Van Riemsdyk to Kessel, and it went off the blade of his stick. Not sure he thought that puck was coming back to him. Probably thought it was going to be shot there. And now it's Riley shooting it off the end boards in behind the net. Van Riemsdyk centers, but right to Zach Sill. Sill steps out of his own zone, passes the puck to Craig Adams, who dumps it into the Toronto zone, and everybody changing now as Morgan Riley has control of the puck for Toronto. Halfway point of the second period. Penguins 2, Toronto 1. Scuderi looks up the left side for Megna. And Megna steps out and then looks back for Dupre. Nice skating by Simon Dupre. To the right side, a shot by Sutter was blocked. Sutter gets it back behind the net. Tried to center it. And the Leafs can't get it out. Megna with it. Megna identifies the open man there, but Robidas did too, and he got over to break up the pass and directed out a play. Good pace to this game, and we have a hockey game, 2-1.
Mike, your team had a 2-0 lead there. What's the rule of thumb on a 2-on-1 offensively? I know you weren't too happy with the decision and the puck being turned over.
Well, you never want to turn it over. You know, the decision of the player, he's going at full speed, he's coming in, he's got the option to shoot or pass. You like them to take the shot probably in most cases, but if he thinks he's got the pass, he's still got to try and make that play. But we've got to make sure they don't counter or punch us and get a 2-on-1.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I think what he's talking about there too. Yeah, it's a decision of the player, and a lot of players make the pass there. It's their decision at full speed, but if the puck is turned over there, you should be in good defensive position, the other three players, to prevent things going the other way that quickly. And this game has turned into a little bit of a track meet here. I think Mike Johnson just wants it to be shut down. This neutral zone's got to be shut down by the Penguins.
Santorelli turns back and looks for Phaneuf. His shot through traffic, and he scored. Deflected in. Fleury couldn't track it down as it fluttered by. They're changing direction, and the Leafs have come back to tie this game at 2.
Well, the Leafs got by.
Komarov get another one?
Yeah, he did, Steggy, and he deflected it on his backhand, I believe. It bounced on the ice and past the glove hand of Fleury. Just a wrist shot. There's the redirect. It bounces on the ice, and Marc-Andre Fleury can't track down that bouncing puck. I mean, it absolutely bounced not 5 feet. It had to be 4 feet under the crossbar. And then they would take a look at that. I believe the redirection was below the level of the crossbar. They're not even looking at it. This one's going to count. Komarov's got a couple.
And just when it looked like the Penguins, were having a good night against the Leafs and maybe off and running on one of those lopsided kind of games, nope. The Leafs turn it the other way. A 2-on-1 turns into a goal for the Leafs, and now they've tied it 2-2. And then back to the puck now in his own zone is Letang. The Leafs are an interesting team. You look at the goals per game leaders in the National Hockey League, and of course the Penguins are the cream of the crop, averaging 3.5 goals. Right behind them, Tampa Bay, another great offensive club, and then Toronto. And so the Leafs can do that. They can put the puck in the net, and they're playing better defensively. What's amazing is they lost 2 games. The Buffalo 6-2, and then Nashville 9-2. Outscored 15-4. There's a glove save by Bernier, and they bounce back, beat Tampa Bay 5-2, and then Detroit 4-1. So somehow Randy Carlyle is able to right the ship when they have those disastrous losses. They had a 9-2 loss on their home ice in Toronto, and they bounced back to beat a couple of good teams, and now here they are tied with the Penguins 2-2.
They get Lupul back in the lineup. David Booth back in the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Now it's Franzen behind the net, sends it around near side. 8:32 to go in the second period. Crosby trying to keep it in the attacking zone. Van Riemsdyk over to play it. Angles one now through the middle to go the length of the ice, and icing again against Toronto.
Yeah, this Kessel line's been out a long time. A couple of icings ago, he went into the corner hard with Chris Kunitz, or Como went in to that corner, and yep. Oh boy, that was a heavy hit. Real heavy hit by Como on Kessel, and that was about 35 seconds ago. Another icing, he's still on the ice.
Kessel set over here on the near side for the face-off in the Toronto zone. Bozak taking the draw and winning it against Brandon Sutter, but now the Penguins, well, they had it and they lose it. So skating back for the puck is Ehrhoff, and Riemsdyk cuts around him. Ehrhoff tried to stay with him, and he did. And Ole Mata came over to help his partner and get the puck ahead to Sutter. Now to Sill, back for Sutter. Sutter to the corner. At least more physical in the defensive zone now, making it more difficult for the Penguins to make plays. Tough sledding on the wall right now, but the Penguins, Sutter comes away with it. Throws it to the side of the net. Morgan Riley poked it free. Jake Gardner under pressure from Sill, sent it up the wall. Clarkson, one-touch pass to Holland. Now to Winnick. Winnick to the Penguin zone, goes cross ice. Riley with it, shooting, and a block in front of the puck of a goal by one of the Leafs. Now, the Penguins, I should say, the shot taken out by Gardner is blocked. And cleared now down the ice, and it won't be icing. Puck didn't travel far enough. Now Morgan Riley's got it behind his own net. Could you see who blocked that last shot, Bob? It made a loud thump. I wasn't sure if Fleury got it or one of the Penguins blocked it. Now it's Dupre going back to get the puck in his own zone. Dishes it off. All right, let's relive the excitement of the Whitfield Championships on Root Sports. See Clareton and Avonworth face off again in the single A game. Then Aliquippa and South Fayette in double A. Championship football kicking off tomorrow at 7 on Root Sports. Relive it. Leafs scoring 2 minutes and 37 seconds apart here in the second period. And the game is tied at 2. Como reaching for the puck and didn't get it. It's another icing call.
He's arguing instead of glanced off his stick, right by his stick. I know earlier in the hockey game, Mike Johnson wanted his wingers to come back, thought they were too high in that neutral zone.
Malkin steps in, got an early attack at the puck, and the whistle blows, so they'll drop it again. Kadri taking the face-off against Gino. Leafs win the face-off. Holzer shoots it, and a save by Fleury. It popped up in the air. And a high stick on the puck results in a face-off to the left of the Penguins' goal.
A high stick on the puck, as well as a high stick into the squash of Nazem Kadri. He couldn't believe it. He went to the net there, and as the Penguins high stick the puck, they also got a stick right into his face, and Malkin's lucky he was not called. You can look at that Supermo presented by Allegheny Health Network. You can see that stick of Malkin made contact with Kadri as well. And you got to be in control of your stick.
The Leafs average 33 shots a game against, 26th in the league in that category. Yet the Penguins have only 13 in this game against them. Here's Malkin into the Toronto zone. Malkin looking to get a shot here. He moves it instead over to the near side. Kunitz with a drive. He scores! Como was cruising around in front.
I think it was Como again, was it not? As he went right in front of the net. The puck was shot by Kunitz off the half wall. Again, he tracks the wall down. There's the shot, and I believe Como may have got a stick as he was right in front of Franzen. Franzen's stick between Como's legs, but you can see Como had a stick on the ice, directed it under the glove, over the left pad of Bernier. Como's got 2, and the Penguins are back up.
Well, that'll make people feel a lot better about Blake Como being the winger with Evgeny Malkin and Chris Kunitz. So far, so good. The shot that Fleury wasn't sure about as it went wide of the net, came all the way out to Cody Franzen. Sends it back down the board. So the Penguins retake the lead here, 3-2. David Booth on the attack right now against Paul Martin. Booth sends it back around to the near corner, and Letang hustles over to get there. It's going to be cleared, though, off the near boards by Hornquist down the ice. And another icing infraction against Pittsburgh. So Como with his 7th goal of the season.
Well, you go to the net, you get rewarded, and that's exactly what Blake Como has done. You don't play fancy hockey, you let Malkin do that, and you get your stick on the ice, and you saw that he just really had one hand on the stick trying to keep it away from the defender, Cody Franzen, who had his stick between Como's legs. But that's the old NHL. The new NHL, you have to take sticks away, and Como's stick was not taken away. Give him credit, and the Penguins for getting the puck to the net.
And the Penguins now will have another face-off to the left of Fleury. And Como, by the way, Bob, 6 goals, 13 points in 18 career games against Toronto. I had written it down before the game, and he's had pretty good numbers against him. 11 points in 17 games coming in. So that continues here tonight. Now here's Morgan Riley's shot. That one again through a screen, floated up off the glass. And the Leafs end up with a big save by Fleury there, and a lucky bounce that came right to Clarkson. He pulled the trigger quickly, and Fleury kicked it away with the left pad. Remember that save. As Clarkson, one of those look what I found situations. Down the left wing. It's Holland shooting, and that's blocked by Dupre. Holland got it back and ripped it wide of the goal. Back in behind the net, Clarkson again with it. Holland backhands it up to the point. Riley sends it hard around to the near side, and Gardner slashing in against Magna. Works it behind the net for Clarkson, and he tried to get it in front. It comes near side where it's going to be chipped away, and all the way up into the Toronto zone by Sidney Crosby. And the Leafs go back and get it and start right back on the attack again.
Clarkson Letang had quite a shift there in the Penguin zone. There's a big hit by Simon Dupre.
On Clarkson. Now Komarov, one of the top hitters in the game, bumps Brandon Sutter, but he has the puck.
Gate!
Dupre headmans the puck. Sutter can't get around the Leafs in the neutral zone, but now Dupre follows on to shoot it into the Toronto zone, and Downey over to get it. Up the wall it comes to Kunitz, who backhands it in behind the goal. Sutter crashing in. The Penguins trying to work their way for scoring chances here. Kunitz shot it, and a whistle.
It's going to be a penalty.
It's going to be a penalty as Fleury was leaving the net. A delayed penalty situation. The Penguins draw another one and look to add to their lead. That's Stefan Robida. He's in the box.
And that's what the two-headed monster has done against Toronto in their careers. 50 points for Malkin in 27, 48, and 31 for Crosby. Crosby looking for career point number 800 as the Penguins go to the power play.
Yep, this looks like a pretty good time to get it, doesn't it? Penguins are 1 for 1 with a man advantage. UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Komarov to take the draw against Sidney Crosby. Crosby, Hornquist, Kunitz, Letang, and Malkin for the Penguins, and Gino has it. Malkin across the ice. Letang with a blast. Save made, and the rebound squirts to the near wall, and is easily handled there by Winnick. Winnick will rag the puck for a moment and drop it back to Dion Phaneuf. Looks for a clear lane and drives it long off the glass. And now Malkin leaves it for Chris Letang. Up the wall now for Kunitz. Kunitz cuts into the middle. Looks right side for Malkin. Crosby tried to get there, but now it's poked out of play by the Leafs. And with 4:10 to go in the period, the Penguins up by 1. Face-off coming up.
Well, Staggy Malkin is on fire right now, and he's playing the left point on the power play. This year, he's scoring a lot of goals from that left side. As you can see in the yellow, 11 goals, many on the left side of that ice in the offensive zone. Tonight, he scores from right about the middle of the ice. Last year, more of the goals scored over to the right side where he was on his one-timer side.
There's a chance now for Sid closing in. Looks back for Letang. Back to Crosby. Settles it down with a glove. Crosby holds it. Cross ice. Hornquist a shot. Bernier scrambles over and is lucky to keep that puck out of the net.
It's amazing how Crosby's able to take that lower hand off the stick and use his glove like that when pucks come across off the ice, on the ice. It really is. It's rolling puck, so he just settles it down like a second baseman. But it's seamless, and it sets up that play. It's like seamless transition, whether he uses his feet or his hands. Everything is so well coordinated.
Crosby smashes it to the wall, and the Penguins end up with control off the draw. Malkin steps up. Malkin closes in, goes across. Crosby again uses that glove. But this time, Bozak takes off against Letang. Letang's going to try to close on him. Here he comes. He scores. Bozak with a shorthanded goal. And the Leafs once again strike and tie the game. The Penguins looking to add to their lead with a man advantage. Instead, the Leafs have tied it on a huge shorthanded goal.
Yeah, well, they've already scored 4. That's their 5th shorthanded goal of the season. The Penguins have now given up 4. And Bozak read that play, Crosby to Letang. And then Bozak used his body to prevent Letang from getting through that body. Great job by Bozak, and he goes stick side on Marc-Andre Fleury. The Leafs' 5th shorthanded goal. The Penguins have given up 4.
And you would expect Letang to be able to catch him because he's so good at closing on guys, but you made a point. He blocked him off, and he just had no path to get around him to get to the puck.
He couldn't get to the stick. He was a right-handed shooter. I mean, the only thing he could have done was taken a penalty there probably, or give up a penalty shot.
Still 54 seconds to work with a power play for the Penguins, and they'll try again here. Now Sutter can't get it deep, and down he takes it and drops it back to Olimata.
And of course, Letang, Staggy, when he was trying to make a play on the puck, he's standing still, and Bozak, anticipating the Crosby pass, was already in motion.
Here's Olimata in deep, on the referee in the way there as he tries to handle the puck. Mata looks for it. It comes now for the Leafs, though. And Winnick will just lift it all the way down the ice. We're down to 22 seconds on the penalty to Stefan Robidas. And Ehrhoff finds Como skating nicely through center ice, in over the line. And the Leafs take it away from him and don't get it out. It's held in by Olimata. Back around to the right wing corner for Downey. Now to Como. Gotch is in front of the net. And here's Olimata shooting, and a save by Bernier. And no rebound.
Well, Toronto is tied with the LA Kings. 5 shorthanded goals on the season, as I mentioned. And there's Minnesota, the Islanders, and Tampa. The Penguins have given up the 4 shorthanded goals.
Oftentimes you feel like the Penguins are vulnerable to a shorthanded goal because they have a forward back, but in that particular instance, it was their defenseman, Chris Letang, who found himself in trouble.
Chicago's the only other team that's given up 4 shorthanded goals on the season.
The Leafs are back at full strength. Huge goal by Bozak. His 9th of the season. Steal by the Leafs, but then poked away by Jason Megna. Good hustle by Megna, and Sill able to take the puck in and drop it off for Gotch. Marcel Gotch is hit by David Booth. And now it's Jake Gardner with it for the Leafs. Booth heads up ice. As they steer it up towards the Penguin zone, it'll be another icing infraction against Toronto.
Couple of big hits by that 4th line, and that's what you want. You want offensive zone time. Sill on Booth. In Booth's first game of the season. Zach Sill trying to provide energy for the Penguins here. It's been a tough schedule for Pittsburgh. Another 3 and 4 days here.
Yep. 6 games in 9, isn't it?
Yep, exactly.
Here's turning away with it was Crosby, trying to get it to Hornquist, and the Leafs break it up and poke it back to neutral ice. Suddenly kind of quiet here at Consol Energy Center as Hornquist steers it into the Leaf zone. Now Morgan Riley, and they quickly and methodically bring the puck out of their own zone, and it's Lupul trying to get it deep. Scuderi wouldn't let him do it. But the Leafs dump it in this time, and Fleury will stop it behind the net. Dupre sent it up the boards for Spalling. Into the middle now. Crosby dumps it in. Hornquist wants to get in after it. Bernier stops it there for Franzen. Hornquist applying pressure, but Franzen able to get away from him and move it out to center where Malkin took it away from Van Riemsdyk. Malkin drops it off. It's broken up again by the Leafs, and Franzen brings it ahead. Cody Franzen comes to center and dumps it hard around. Letang backhands it. Keeps it moving up the near wall for Como. Blake Como snaps it nicely to Kunitz, trying to get a step on Phaneuf. Kunitz powering in, a one-hand shot, and then Phaneuf barreled into his own goaltender. Bernier made the save on Chris Kunitz.
Well, it looked like Kunitz had the corner, but he had to get by Dion Phaneuf, and Phaneuf would have none of it. He would have thrown Kunitz right into that cage.
Blake Comeau looks very comfortable in his own zone on the wall. He makes some nice plays as he gets that puck on his forehand. Made a beautiful hard pass to Kunitz on that play.
He's been consistent from day one in putting that Penguin uniform on. He's got 2 tonight, the 7th time he's done that in his career. He's got 1 hat trick.
Leafs on the attack here. Corbinian Holzer dumps it in behind the net for Clarkson. Bumped by Sutter. And you can just feel the Leafs kind of beating the Penguins to lose pucks right now. They have that energy that you get from shorthanded goals.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and they've taken the crowd out of it.
Now the Penguins just want to get it up into the Leaf zone. Robidas goes back, winds it around near side. Holzer lifts it back out to neutral ice as time expires here in the second period. So give the Leafs a lot of credit. It looked like the Penguins were kind of having things go their way, but the Leafs snatched it right back, tied the game. Penguins took the lead. They retie it on a shorthanded goal.
Now let's see if the Stars can come out to play in the third period of play. I would expect it as they go back and regroup, Staggy.
Let's go to Paul and Jay.
All right, Staggy, thank you very much. Very interesting period. Penguins up 3-2. They have the power play. You're thinking good time to maybe take that lead, but the Leafs answer with a shorty.
They climb back in. We talked about Toronto coming out hard. They tie it up, and you said Pittsburgh had a chance to take it, make it 4-2. Their power play being lethal, we know about that. The shorthanded goals, they're killers. They're killers. I mean, Pittsburgh's got a battle to win. The numbers go against you when you give it up. But one of those things, they're going to come back in battle and win a third period.
3-3 with the third period to come. When we come back, Dan Potash with Blake Comeau. He has a pair of goals. We will have the Mercedes second intermission report straight ahead on Root Sports. After 2, Toronto and Pittsburgh are tied at 3. 20 minutes of hockey straight ahead. But if you're just joining us, here's what you missed.
Moves it back to the point to Mata. Now they're off a drive, and that's off the stick. Falcon centered it. Back edge, score! Blake Comeau! Now to Crosby. Crosby across. Here's Malkin. Shoots, he scores! Santorelli centering. They score! Fred instead over to the near side. Kunitz with a drive. He scores! Bozak takes off against Letang. Letang's going to try to close on him. Here he comes. He scores! Bozak with a shorthanded goal. So the Leafs hanging around, making it a good hockey game here tonight as we head to the third period, tied at 3, and Chris Kunitz and company have done a good job here tonight, Bob.
Yeah, he has. He plays the same way. It's a blue-collar game for Chris Kunitz, the guy that can read plays, can play defensive hockey. Always a good plus-minus guy. Look at him get to the wall here and track this down. He sets up the first goal just by getting to that loose puck. Comeau gets his first in the first 28 seconds of the hockey game. Another shot that goes wide, gets his over there. Yeah, it's Chris Kunitz again, and he just gets the puck to the net. Comeau goes to the front of the net again, so little line chemistry there with Comeau, Kunitz, and Malkin, and that's what Comeau's done in the game so far. 2, 3, and 4 with his 7th career 2-goal game. And for Chris Kunitz, regardless of whether he's playing with Crosby or Malkin, he makes everybody around him better. He's such an honest hockey player.
Face-off coming up to start the third period between Malkin and Kadri.
Referee's over at the penalty box right now with a slight delay. Now we're good to go.
The goal judge light was on. And that's controlled from upstairs now. It used to be controlled by a guy who actually sat in a little booth behind the goal and turned on the light when he saw the puck go over the line. Here's Santorelli now for Toronto into the Pittsburgh zone against Olli Mata. Shoots it, steered away by Fleury. Mata there, up the wall now for Comeau. Comeau playing on the right wing, of course, on this line, but at times we've seen him making plays from the near off wing. Here's a steal by Malkin to the goal. He just couldn't fit it as Bernier got there to make the save on Gino.
Malkin turns to the forehand. I don't know if Bernier got his stick on Malkin's stick as he was trying to shuffle that around the right pad or not.
Ehrhoff banks it up the near wall. Taken there by Hornquist. Across to Sidney Crosby. Crosby against Cody Franzen. Looks back. Letang turns. Shots it wide. Hornquist slaps it wide as well. Letang on it on his backhand. Turns away from Bozak. Letang wanted to shoot it, but Bozak doggedly forces him back to center ice. And now Paul Martin with it. It'll be Dion Phaneuf retrieving the puck in his own zone. Fans coming to life here as they anticipate an exciting third period tonight on Thanksgiving Eve. Back to get it goes Paul Martin against Clarkson. Letang gave it right to Holland. His shot blocked away. Taken now by Jason Megna. He and Downey come ahead. The Penguins change up behind the play. Here comes Megna trying to drive to the goal. He just couldn't take it with him.
Ooh, great speed as he chips it around the defender. He can't interfere.
He can really skate. He throws it in behind the net. Downey there. Downey, Sutter, and Megna, the trio for the Penguins. Sutter brings it up. Leaves it there for Scuderi. Throws it in front off the side of the goal. And now chopped in front by Scuderi again. Rob Scuderi in deep on the play, being covered by Sutter, who has the puck now, and he'll bank it up into the Toronto zone. Penguins change. Morgan Riley controls on the stationary breakout for Toronto. Trevor Smith up the right wing to Lupul. David Booth was ahead of the play. Lupul will wind it up now in the neutral zone and dump it into the Penguins' end. Fleury stops it behind the net. Able to get it past Trevor Smith to Ehrhoff and up the right wing to Craig Adams. Adams dumps it off the wall. Zach Sill just keeps on skating, and after he gets Holzer, hammers him. Holzer made a good play to take that check and move it along to David Booth, and he gains a red line and dumps it into the Penguins zone. Fleury looks around, and the Penguins are able to get the puck out. A right wing pass for Ehrhoff, the defenseman jumping in. Ehrhoff left it there for Adams, whose shot was blocked. Adams trying to take it away from Phaneuf, but it comes to center to David Booth. The tank stepped up on him. And Adams dumps it back into the Leafs zone as he heads to the bench. Chris Kunitz comes on.
Good pace, 4 lines have gone through. We're getting to our second rotation now.
Santorelli right in front of his own bench. He gave the puck right to the Penguins zone. Letang on the right wing. Throws it ahead to Malkin. And Gardner couldn't get it out. Como holds it in for Gino. Couldn't take it away from Komarov. And now the Leafs counter, and it's Kadri with it, and he'll dump it into the Penguins zone. Santorelli with good speed, getting in after it, but Fleury wound it around to the near side. Santorelli in the corner, working again, but it's Paul Martin taking control. Over to Letang. And Letang stops up, moves it to his partner. Martin looks for Malkin. Malkin looking for room in the neutral zone, trying to pass it to Kunitz. It goes to the right wing corner. It's going to be an ice. No, it's waved off. The Penguins got there, and it's Como with it. Good hustle by Kunitz to get there first. Kunitz couldn't get it deep, however. Now he's back like a defenseman. DeFray coming back to help out. Took a piece of Gardner on the near wing after he dumped it in. And we get an offside call with the game tied at 3.
Well, look at Malkin. Turns it to the forehand. Just slips off his stick. And Letang, watch him use his foot. Oh, really good stuff. That's Malkin, Crosby, and Letang get it going. There's Megna with that good speed around the defense of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just unable to cut in on Riley. So the Penguins are on their horse after settling things down. Second intermission. They've had the best shifts here so far in the third.
Bozak taking the draw. Sidney Crosby for the Penguins. It was right to Cody Franzen, and now Ehrhoff to Mata up the wall. Kessel looks for it, but Crosby has it. Crosby ahead to Hornquist. Hornquist back for Crosby. Here they go, and a save made by Bernier. And all Sid did was just give that a little poke as he went by and tried to steer that puck into the goal, but Bernier stayed right with him.
Yeah, Bozak talking to Sid for putting a stick in there on Bernier, but I'll tell you, Sidney Crosby, what a pass he made to Hornquist in the neutral zone at top flight. It was just a 7-foot pass right onto the table. Hornquist threw about 2 skates and a stick, and then is almost able to turn it in on Bernier. Look how fast he is. So Gets that body position on James Van Riemsdyk.
And a nice area pass by Hornquist, too, to get it to where Sid could do something with it when he got to the net. And Hornquist has an assist now in 5 straight games. And what's interesting about that is, you know, that it was more difficult for him to get assists in Nashville because there weren't a lot of guys that could finish there. So he's picking up some helpers now with you know, the company that he's keeping, and Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. We know he can score goals.
Bozak and Crosby still talking on this faceoff. You can see the lips are moving.
Ehrhoff trying to whip it to the net, blocked. Crosby just fell down, and then Hornquist was knocked down. There's going to be penalties to Phaneuf and Hornquist after a tough battle in front of the goal.
And Crosby's wondering how he fell down. He wasn't knocked down by Bozak or anything. He just lost his footing after a faceoff. There's Hornquist and Phaneuf in front. Crosby goes down, and then you can see Hornquist being knocked down by Phaneuf. Hornquist is trying to establish that position in front of the net where he's so prominent and does such an effective job.
And Phaneuf quite prominent at making sure he does it.
He does a pretty good job there too. He's had a good year, Phaneuf. He's a +10. So a little open ice here.
Crosby steps up here on the 4-on-4 to take the face-off for the Penguins against Nazem Kadri, and the Penguins control off the draw. Ehrhoff to Malkin. Sid and Gino out here in the 4-on-4. Here's Ehrhoff firing, and he missed the goal. Ehrhoff still looking for his first goal as a Penguin. Olimata left it there for Ehrhoff. He'll use the net now as his ally, and the Penguins will start it up. Leafs back off in the 4-on-4. A steer in by Malkin. Crosby gets to the puck. Crosby centers. Malkin shoots. Big save by Bernier on Evgeny Malkin. That might have been his best save of the game. The way he telescoped out and took it away from Gino. Another chance for Malkin here as the Leafs are changing. Malkin down the wing, trying to come to the goal. Looks around for the puck. Pucked away by Bernier. There's going to be a penalty. Holding the stick, I think.
Well, Malkin would not be denied. He used his backside to protect the puck after he came across the blue line, and Riley's going to be the one going to the box. This is the first save. Crosby to Malkin, the blocker of Bernier, and watch Malkin turns his back on Riley, and there's the hook, the stick of Riley under the hands of Malkin. He just wanted to go to the net.
One of the things Randy Carlyle said today when he was asked about penalties, and we have a timeout called by the Penguins, he said, well, we're taking fewer because we're doing a better job in the defensive zone. He said that's where teams want to play today, and you've got to be better at defending without taking penalties. But it really hasn't been the case so much tonight. They have taken some penalties, and let's face it, the Penguins are a team that knows how to draw them with the great skill that they have. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, and look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. The Penguins are coming into the game 6th in goals against average in the National Hockey League at 2.21, but that'll go up a little bit now that they've allowed 3 goals to the Leafs.
So the Penguins get their timeout. It's a 4-on-3. You don't practice it a lot. You want to make sure all the parts are in place. But even more so, if you turn the puck over, you got to make sure that somebody's back. And you don't want to play around too much with the puck. You know, Toronto will like to turn it the other way. They already have one shorthanded goal, so if you're not going to score, you don't want to get scored against, that's for sure.
Here's Letang.
Here, boy, right away, you misplay that puck, it goes 2-on-1 the other way, and it was that close to doing so.
Letang to Malkin. 4-on-3 power play for the Penguins. Crosby with it. Now to Gino. UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Crosby across. Good read by Holzer, but now Malkin's got it. Malkin to Letang, and stick shatters. And then Robidas with it. Letang backing up without a stick. He'll go get one at the bench after the Leafs cleared it down the ice, and the Penguins will have to regroup. 32 seconds to go on those penalties to Phaneuf and Hornquist. Here comes Malkin. Nowhere to go with it. Winnick sends it around for Robidas. Crosby closes in on him, throws a hip into him, but over to help out on the near side is Winnick. Winnick's been another nice addition for the Leafs. Now to the right wing, it's Crosby stepping into the Toronto zone. Crosby dishes it across for Malkin, couldn't take the pass, just didn't connect. He was there. Now he wants the puck back. Malkin steps in. Malkin across the ice now to Letang. Shoots it. It's off of Franzen. First two penalties are over. 40 seconds to go on a 5-on-4. Malkin shoots it. Wide of the goal. Crosby got to chop it in front. And we're off the side of the cage. Sid has it again. Pushes it over to Letang. Hornquist goes to the front of the net. Malkin's got it.
No stick for enough.
Malkin holding it, isolating on Phaneuf. Letang with a drive, and it's blocked by Franzen. And then cleared. Desperation time for the Leafs, and they're able to keep that puck from even getting to the net. Now Letang with it with 16 seconds to go on the penalty to Morgan Riley, and now it is taken by Sutter, along with Downey and Hornquist. Gardner trying to get it out, and the Leafs are able to get it all the way up the ice.
That's going to kill it right there.
Morgan Riley out of the box. Lead pass, and offside are the Penguins as they enter the Leafs zone.
Well, a good opportunity on the 4-on-3 for Pittsburgh. They're denied in a 3-3 hockey game.
Face off at center ice. The Leafs with a huge penalty kill, and the game remains 3-3. 12:33 to go in the third period.
Fleury stretching out in those new pads.
Each team with a couple of shots here in the period. The Penguins failed to register a shot on that last power play opportunity.
Really incredible how much Fleury was stretching at that last timeout, Staggy. Down with the legs post to post. Working on the groin area, keeping that flexibility that he has at almost 30 years of age. November 28th, he turns 30.
Fleury stops it behind the goal. Flips it up off the glass. And dishing the puck away is Downey to Mata. He golfs it up into the zone. Bouncing puck. Magnet gets a hold of it. Throws it in front. And it goes right through the goal mouth. Downey over to get it in front of Lupul. And he backhands it in behind the Leafs goal. The Leafs are hanging on to that second wild card spot right now in the Eastern Conference. And oftentimes the standings at Thanksgiving turn out to be pretty close to what they look like at the end of the year. This is kind of a time of the season when you can really start to see how things are going to shake out in the standings. There are always a couple of exceptions, but the Penguins are at the quarter pole here tonight. Here's Kadri with it now, and over the line to the right wing, a shot blocked. Kessel had his shot blocked by Paul Martin. Former Olympic teammates. Now here's Phaneuf with a blast. He shot it hard, but it missed the net. Cody Franzen back to Phaneuf. Tees it up. It was on edge. Trickles into the slot where Paul Martin had it and lost it and gets it back. Thank goodness. Crosby got a stick on that, or might have ended up with a good scoring chance for Kessel. Now Crosby turns and somehow felt that puck coming up behind him and got a stick on it, but the Leafs go the other way. Kessel to Van Riemsdyk. And Riemsdyk to the goal and never got through. He gets it back though. And now Crosby got right to the puck, snapped it out to Hornquist, and now ahead to Kunitz, trying to drag it ahead. And just forcing his will as the Leafs end up with it again though. Kunitz was just trying his darndest to get that puck deep. Now Fleury able to glove it off for Scuderi. And Scuderi lugs that puck. He's got a little bit of ice to work with. Hands it off to Malkin. It looks right wing now to Como. Malkin ran right over Clarkson. And the Leafs send the puck up the ice, and back to get it goes Rob Scuderi. The Leafs are skating well. And they're playing with a certain rhythm right now here in Pittsburgh. And they are very much in this game right now.
No, they are. And they were in the game 2-1. Thomas Greiss held the fort at the end of that one, so the Penguins get a 2-1 victory in Toronto.
Holland ahead now for Winnick, but he couldn't get it through to him. And the whistle blows. On a special Inside Pirates Baseball, relive 2014. It was packed with crucial games, key home runs, highlight reel catches, and a lot more. Of course, the Pirates roared into the playoffs for the second straight year. It's worth seeing again on Inside Pirates Baseball 2014 season review tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Mike Johnson going to the fourth line again here. Gotch, Adams, and Zach Sill, who's in place of Bo Bennett, who's injured in Boston Monday.
What kind of atmosphere do you feel down there right now, Bob? Is
nervous. It's nervous. But the Leafs are skating well. The Penguins are too. Not a lot of space out here. And that one turnover that you know is going to be forced could prove costly here.
Back around near side, Kadri digs it off the wall.
Not a lot. You want support out here. Puck support. The Leafs get it there to exit their zone. That's what you need to make plays right now. Both teams skating well and taking away that time.
Leafs playing with a certain amount of desire right now. You can feel it. And the Penguins looking to get that next goal. And to the point it goes to Ehrhoff. His shot. And where did it go? Bernier was scrambling to get a control of it. And now the Penguins and Leafs get into a little extracurricular activity after the whistle.
Great job getting the puck to the point as everybody collapsed in the corner, and Ehrhoff leaned into it, and Bernier somehow found it through all that traffic.
Blake Como 2 goals and our Subway sandwich.
Well, he's not going to shy away from trying to get a hit in the offensive zone, and Blake Como, that's how he can gain space and get to the net. You want to eliminate defense. You pace them into the wall, and then you jump to the front of the net, and Blake Como has been doing a terrific job of that all year.
He said he likes playing the left wing because he can throw his shoulder into guys, his left shoulder. He likes to hit with that shoulder, but he's playing right wing tonight. But in that particular sequence, he looked like a left winger as he hit Robidas. There's another hit down there by Como on Santorelli. And Kunis can't catch up with the puck. The Leafs drive it right back into the Penguin zone. You remember that, Bob, as a winger? Like, did you have one shoulder that you wanted to lead with? Did it feel more comfortable hitting with one shoulder than another?
Yeah, I think no, for me it really didn't matter. Whatever one felt good. Sometimes I had a sore shoulder, but you know, when I was on the right side, I felt like awkward. But I was.
Here's Malkin shooting. He missed the goal. The Tank takes it. Now Kunis. Well, you like to hit, I know that. Now here's Ehrhoff with it.
Sometimes with the hands, with the shoulder, and
you had no shoulder pads. I don't know how you did it.
That was a tough thing. That's why a lot of players hit with their forearms a lot more in those days. Take the impact off the shoulders. There's a lot more separated shoulders in my day.
Paul Martin goes back for the puck. I'd like to get a picture sometime of those shoulder pads you used to wear. An icing call against the Leafs. We'll have to see if we can arrange that. I know there's one shot of us in the locker room where I'm interviewing you after the Penguins won the cup, and you've got your shoulder pads on. You can see how small and light they were. They really were not very protective.
No. Not like what they're wearing today.
Some guys are bigger than others. Here's Crosby to take the draw now against Bozak, and it's won by the Leafs. Bozak, pretty good face-off man. Now the puck sent the length of the ice. There's no icing. Fleury stops it for Paul Martin.
Martin out there against Kessel, and that's been his assignment all night. Kessel's been awfully quiet.
Got some more of these favorite Fleury moment tweets that we asked for. Brought to you by Point Park University. Fleury getting drafted, making somebody's brother's late for the wedding. Fleury came out with a Steeler helmet. We remember that.
Yeah,
That was a good one. And that glove save on Ovechkin was big. That was the one that he made right at the start of Game 7 in the Washington series on the way to the Stanley Cup. And in the very first shift of the hockey game.
Yeah, that turned the whole game, didn't it?
It did. It's amazing how early there can be a turning point in a hockey game, and that was on the first shift. Not to mention a playoff run. Now here's Magna hustling in on his backhand, turns the corner. Magna throws it back down behind the net. Sutter couldn't stop it. Scuderi pinching down the wall, but David Booth leans on him. Now it's Gardner sending it around to the near side for Morgan Riley. He lifts it up ahead, and Loop will knock it out of midair, but right to Simon Dupre. Dupre across for Scuderi. Dupre comes to center, nowhere to go. He got it to the Toronto line. It comes right back to him, and this time he's able to dump it into the Toronto zone. The Penguins are changing. Downey has to get off the ice. He's going all the way across now. This is replaced by Patrick Hornquist. This is Lupul. Oh, he just missed. And now Holland shoots it. Fleury was holding the post, and it never got through anyway because Dupre put his body down to block that shot by Peter Holland. Boy, Lupul almost found the stick side on Fleury.
Yeah, that was as dangerous as he's looked all night. Lupul, he came all the way back for a breakout pass as the Penguins changed, and when he got into the offensive zone, turned it on his forehand over Dupre's stick, and then Dupre smothered the second opportunity, laying horizontal. You know Lupul can score goals. He's a big-time player, the alternate captain in Toronto.
Big hit by Komarov on Mata. He's going to another big hit down there in the corner. And now Phaneuf has the puck at the line. And he shoots it wide of the goal. Santorelli there. Kadri really nailing Ehrhoff, but now Crosby lifts it out to center. Now it's going to be dumped in by Kadri to the corner, and back to get it is Olli Mata. Off by Santorelli. Tough sledding down there all of a sudden.
Ehrhoff wanted payback, but it would have been a little too late, Staggy, so he just lived to fight another day and not fear not taking a penalty there for a retaliatory penalty.
Snaps it on the left wing where it's steered in by Holland. Fleury lets it come to him in the trapezoid. Lifts it up along the boards. Dupre looking for the puck. Simon Dupre trying to get it out. And he just flips it back out to center. Now a foot race for the puck. Como pressuring Robidas. Heading out of Holland. Malkin takes it away from Peter Holland. Great pass to Kunitz. Kunitz comes to a sharp angle, hangs onto it, moves it back out to Scuderi, and across now to Simon Dupre. Dupre on his backhand, works it to the corner. And Malkin couldn't do much with it in that particular opportunity, and now the Leafs get it out to center ice, and Clarkson in on the attack. Clarkson against Scuderi. Slips around that hip check. Clarkson keeps on coming in behind the net. Scuderi trying to get it away from him. Winnick shot blocked by Dupre, who needs to get off. He's been out here a while. And now Malkin will drop it off to Rob Scuderi. And back for support comes Jason Megna. Dupre is able to get off. Scuderi moves it along to Brandon Sutter. Scuderi has to remain on the ice for coverage here, but now here goes Sutter, and Scuderi goes off. Sutter down the wing against Morgan Riley. Look at that stutter step move. In behind the net on the backhand. Moves it out to Letang. Letang with a half slapper. That's sticked away by Bozak. And now Sutter gets to the puck in the neutral zone. 5:15 to go in the third period. Shots are low in this game. 25 for the Leafs, 22 for the Penguins. Not many here in this period. 2 for Toronto. Now here is Sutter with it on the near side. Sutter battling against Morgan Riley. He's had a good game tonight, Morgan Riley. He's really competed. Back around on the near wing is taken by Van Riemsdyk. Dished it in behind the net. The tank tripped there by Kessel. He got away with that one. And now Paul Martin works it up the wall, and Kadri read the play and picked it off. Out to Kessel, a shot on a stick save made by Fleury. And Phaneuf pinched down the wall and took a shot right to the face from Jason Megna. Back in front it comes, loose. And over to get it goes Phaneuf. Phaneuf chopped it into the circle. And it's taken now by Megna. And he's able to just softly dump it to the Leaf zone, but not soft enough. It's going to be an icing call against Pittsburgh.
No, Phaneuf's looking at Megna, and Megna came over there and looked like he clipped Phaneuf right on the chin. A good hard hit by Jason Megna. And you better play hard. You're inside 5 minutes in the third period in a tie hockey game, your second game of the year. And talk about big hits. Kadri planted Ehrhoff. You didn't see him coming. Talk about using a good shoulder check there.
And then when he did that, I had to be looking at Mata to see how he was reacting to the hit he took, because he got hit really hard too down there against the boards. And he appeared to be okay. Now it's taken by Leo Komarov ahead to Kadri. Nazem Kadri with a toe drag move and then shooting it, but it was partially blocked. And then right on to Fleury.
A lot of hitting in the third period, not a lot of opportunities in this one. And Megna getting into it as well on Phaneuf. Good hit. Now down here in a 3-3 hockey game, we're inside almost 4 minutes, 4:06. Not a lot of smiles. This isn't a game for smiling. This is a game where you got to kind of pull up your socks and go to work. You want to make the tough plays. You see all the hitting on the board work. This game is going to be won and lost around the wall if it's won and lost in this third period. We get to overtime, it's a different story, guys. But right now, this is tough sledding. It's playoff hockey. And if you don't want to go out there and take a hit to make a play, coaches are going to put you on the ice.
Leafs control the faceoff. Santorelli fell down, but able to get the puck to Leo Komarov, and now for Nazem Kadri, and it slipped right past Sidney Crosby to the side of the goal, and Fleury decides he'd better cover it up.
You better communicate when you're out there. You better be talking. Boards, heads up, chip, all those kind of terms. Get it out. And, or I'm here, you just tap your stick. There's got to be verbal communication out there, yelling as much as you can. It's kind of stuff that you don't see on camera.
He's controlled in the corner. Komarov and Santorelli off the side of the cage, and there is Ole Mata with it. Ahead now for Hornquist. Tipped it behind Cody Franzen. Gets in after it. They were teammates in Nashville. Hornquist and Franzen. Now Santorelli with it on the right wing. Climbing up his backside is Hornquist. Excellent back pressure there. And now it's Ehrhoff, and he throws it right back in. And the Leafs turn it right back out to center. So both teams just trying to get something going here, but they're defending very well. Close checking at the moment. Here comes Malkin. Malkin feeds it in there for Como. Back to Gino. He fires and missed the goal. Comes off the corner wall. Martin got there quickly for Gino. Out to Kunitz, a blast that he blocked, and a block by Gardner. He's all in one motion, able to take off with it, but Letang will get over and tap it back to center. Taken into the attacking zone by Van Riemsdyk. He goes in after the puck. Paul Martin tripped a little bit on the goal cage. It appears to be all right. Now he banks it up the wall. Kessel there trying to take it away, but Kunitz and Como team up to get it back out to neutral ice. 2:46 to go in the third period. Neither team wants to give up a big scoring chance here. They want to try to get it to overtime if they can, or try to win it without doing anything that might make them vulnerable. Here's Megna. He lost the puck. Morgan Riley got it ahead to Winnick, but he shot it out of play.
Hornquist, you talk about taking away time from a player with a puck. Hornquist gets on pucks, and when he's not, he's back checking. Take a look at this. I mean, his feet are constantly moving. You notice that from day one of training camp from Hornquist. Relentless. The legs were never stopped churning. And he doesn't need to be putting up goals and assists to be productive. Turns over a lot of pucks just with that hard effort.
Clarkson taking the draw against Sidney Crosby. Spalling, Crosby, and Hornquist are the threesome for the Penguins. Scuderi and Dupre back. Crosby's stick was held off the faceoff by Clarkson, allowing the Leafs to dump the puck in. They get over there and prevent that from happening. He couldn't do so. Now Hornquist steers it back into the Leaf zone. They go D to D. Franzen with a left wing pass for Clarkson. The former Devil dumps it into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Scuderi. Send it up the near wall. Dupre was able to chop it back out to the neutral zone where it's whacked over to the near boards by the Leafs. Dupre barging up the near wall to get it up into the Toronto zone. Now it's taken by Dupre. Good pass into the slot. Just not right on the money for Spalling. And now his pass intended for the point was read by Clarkson, who carries back against Scuderi. Following on is Lupul. Holland goes in there to help out. Lupul dancing out of the corner on his backhand. Sends it back in behind. Crosby read the play. Nice lead pass for Hornquist, but he's at the end of his shift. It's going to go off him and down the ice.
Right by Holzer, and they waved it off. He could have played it.
So the Penguins were able to change. There was a break there, and now here's Ehrhoff with it. Sends it back around up the near far wall for Megna. And Megna had to be quick to get that puck out on his off wing.
He did. He made a good play on the wall there. He's getting ice time late in this third.
Downey, Sutter, and Megna. Good hit by Sutter and Holzer. Holzer tries to kick it free. He's a big body, Holzer. 6'3", 205. Sutter leaning on him, and Downey has the puck out to the point. Ole Mata with a drive. It dies in traffic. Where is it? It's loose. Downey chopping at it. Bernier's down. And everybody trying to find the loose puck. It's still up for grabs. The referee can still see it. Here's Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff takes the shot. Moves it left side. Downey trying to move it to Sutter. Gloved away again by the Leafs. Here's Mata shooting. Bernier was down and he missed the goal.
You can't put your hand on the puck, and the Leaf, who was without a stick, I don't know who it was, Holzer maybe, looked like he might have covered up the puck just for an instant.
Mata's shot this time is right on, and Bernier makes the save. Boy, Bernier was swimming, flopping, and the Penguins just couldn't get the puck to the open net.
And Downey was fishing like he was looking for some carp.
Well,
and he couldn't find that puck. It was in there.
Carp.
Yes, he was. He was doing snow angels in that crease. But the puck came out into the high slot after the fact. And it looked like 55. Holzer, did he cover it for a second? I thought he did before he pushed it off, and the Penguins were looking for a penalty. Wow, you talk about desperation. That was crazy.
And Robidoux came over and slid in there on Ole Mata to prevent him from getting a clean shot away with Bernier lying on his right side, thrown on the ice.
Yep. And we got Como. Phaneuf's talking to Como. Como had some lip service for Phil Kessel on the last shift. I can't repeat what he said. Obviously Phaneuf knows what he said, and Comeau and Phaneuf are exchanging pleasantries right now.
With those hash marks and how you have to stand on them, they're separated though. They're not bumping each other off the draw. Shot by Martin and it never got through. And you got to be careful here. Those defense were really wide apart, Letang and Martin, and the Leafs were looking to go up the middle there. But Letang goes back for it with only 14 seconds to go in regulation. Evgeny Malkin try to give it to Comeau. Comeau just dishes it to the Leafs line. Maybe one more rush for Toronto here if they can get it going. Kessel dumps it in. 3 seconds to go. Fleury couldn't stop it cleanly. Letang back to get it. And the Leafs earn a point here tonight at Pittsburgh. At least one. The Penguins would like to get the extra point in the overtime. The Barrel.com overtime is coming up. It's a 3-3 score after 3. You're getting ready to watch the Barrel.com overtime here at Consol Energy Center with the game tied at 3. Time to look at our McDonald's player of the game.
There he is, Blake Comeau, in conversation with Marcel Gotts, explaining to him about his altercation and his goals, shots, and 5 hits in the hockey game for Comeau. Yes, the McDonald's player of the game, and let's see if he's got one more up his sleeve.
You've got to be pretty impressed with a guy who's able to make plays, score goals, and also play a physical brand of hockey. I mean, what else are you looking for? He does everything you want him to do, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's still talking to Phaneuf. That's who he's talking to right now, guys. So Phaneuf is yelling over at the bench to Comeau. Comeau with his eyes set upon the Leafs captain with the Pat Quinn patch on his right side. So we got a quick shovel, took a little snow off the ice, and we're ready to go.
Sidney Crosby will take the opening draw of the overtime against Tyler Bozak. And the Penguins have the puck, and the 4-on-4 overtime starts. One in overtime the other night in Boston with Evgeny Malkin scoring the game winner. And we get an icing call against the Penguins here.
Crosby was going to get to that puck first. That was a terrible call. That was an awful call in overtime. Crosby knew, and in Boston, those two, Crosby and Malkin, connected on Monday night for the overtime winner. Beautiful center drive by Chris Letang, and boy,
they moved the face-off, Bob. They realized they made a mistake.
Good for them. Crosby was going to split the D and get to that puck first. There's no question about that. They had blown it dead, and they made up for it. They're going to drop it at center. That was a good decision for the linesman. I'll give them a lot of credit.
The Leafs 1-2 in overtime. The Penguins 3-2. And here we go. Bozak with it, drops it back to Phaneuf. Kessel leaves it for Franzen. Back to Phaneuf. Kessel and Bozak up front. Crosby and Malkin for the Penguins with Mata and Ehrhoff back. Willie Mata goes back for the puck.
Ehrhoff broke his stick. Kessel with a little bit of a slash that wasn't called.
And Paul Martin steps on in place of Ehrhoff. Moves his stick out of the way. And Cody Franzen moves up. And the defenseman always dangerous in the 4-on-4. Got to keep your eye on them. Head on a swivel, right, Bobby? Here's Bozak with it now in the corner. Malkin tried to take it away and did. It came to Martin. Ahead now to Sidney Crosby. Looks for Malkin down the wing. Gino cuts in. Trying to move it along for Martin and turned it over. And now Malkin trying to get back as the puck comes through. Martin beating Morgan Riley to it. Finding Letang. He'll give ground here. And the Penguins weaving their way up the ice here as they get a man off the bench. It was Hornquist, but he couldn't do anything with it. And Morgan Riley ahead now for Santorelli. Letang there as well. Hornquist finds the puck and dishes it ahead. It's carried by Brandon Sutter. He'll push it in behind defenseman Gardner. Gets in after it, reaches around it, tries it free, but Morgan Riley there. Over for Kadri, and off of Letang's stick to center. Ehrhoff with it now. Santorelli chasing him. Off the boards it comes for Hornquist, backing up as he comes to center. Pass to Letang. He's able to get to it. Now Kadri comes over and decks Letang. And Holzer with it. And the Leafs start from their own zone. Look out. Kunitz almost ran into Kadri, but he was able to duck that check. Centering pass is broken up, and now the Penguins, Kunitz had to reach back for it. And as a result, the Leafs get people back. Here's Comeau with it now. Comeau to Mata. Mata, backhand shot off the end of the glove of Bernier. Kunitz has it now. Kunitz looks for Mata, was broken up. And Ehrhoff will go back and get it. Peter Holland chasing as Ehrhoff turns it off the wall back into the Leafs zone. 2:35 to go in the overtime.
Tough change here, and the Leafs got away with, with too many men on the ice, to be quite honest with you.
Here's Van Riemsdyk against Martin. He drops it off. Enough with a shot, deflected, and picked up by Paul Martin ahead to Sidney Crosby. Crosby takes off with it. Crosby trying to move in on with Phaneuf. Phaneuf took him down. Como follows on, gets the puck to Letang. Back to Como. Crosby's in front. Como holds it, shoots it. Score! Como with the hat trick. I don't think Crosby touched it. I think Como's going to get the goal. His second career hat trick is the game winner.
Wow. Sidney Crosby. He may have gotten an assist on this. If he did, he may have scored the goal. I don't know, but he was flying on Phaneuf. Phaneuf was riding him bareback, but Crosby kept the puck alive. Great speed going down the right wing, and he just would not be denied to get the puck in the offensive zone. What a play by Sidney Crosby, and the Hats are on the ice here as Como posted up in that high slot area, almost at the blue line. Watch Crosby. He's down. Phaneuf's draped on top of him, and the puck goes back. Sidney Crosby's going to get a point on this goal one way or the other. There's the shot. He got the stick up there on Bernier. In slow-mo, I think it went right by Crosby's stick. I don't think he touched it. Tough to tell, though, folks, and it doesn't really matter. The Pittsburgh Penguins, nope, looked like he might have missed it, and it just grazed the glove of Bernier, distracted him enough. Great passing play, and Crosby, give him 800, folks. 800 points in the National Hockey League on the Como hat trick goal.
Let's go to Paul and Jay.
All right, Staggy and Bob, thank you very much. And we knew we were going to have an exciting third period. I didn't think we would have a third period without a goal, but overtime worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it got really tight in the third period, but it was speed, there was hitting, but it got tight, it just tightened up. And then, Pittsburgh in overtime, both teams did, went 2 forwards, 2 D, D jumping up, taking a chance, and then Como, great for him because, that pressure being up on that top line did a phenomenal job. They're all a part of it, so it was a great, great win.
As we promised during the course of the broadcast, Miller time, and it's presented by Miller Lite, and this one was pretty easy. When you get into overtime and the game ends, well, that goal that ends it, that's going to be your Miller time highlight. Blake Como with a blast from the point, Sid with the distraction, and that is your Miller time moment of the night. Blake Como with the hat trick, a big night for the Penguins. They get that additional point. Jay, pretty spirited contest.
Yeah, you know what, again, Como to provide when all the talk is about wingers and this, they come out and play the game that way, get a couple, he works hard, he finishes checks hard, he's got a great shot, and that's great for him because the pressure's on it. Good job.
We have a lot to break down. We're going to do so coming up straight ahead right here on the Penguins postgame. The Penguins an overtime winner over the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs. Your final score from the Consol Energy Center, 4-3. Jay Caulfield and I will break it all down for you straight ahead right here on Roots.